The unbelievably true story of the life of Amy Ellis, a cultural autobiography. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I was born in Auburn, Washington, just outside of Seattle in June of 1990. I have two older brothers, and I was raised with my mom and dad in a Protestant household. And we moved back to Texas as soon as we could, when I was about 3. We went to school in a predominantly Caucasian town. I grew up very involved in sports, everything from basketball to softball and even cheerleading. But softball was always my sport of choice. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. If there was a field, I was playing. The first year of high school, I attended school with more diversity, surrounded by African Americans and Hispanics. But about halfway through my high school, I moved to a small town outside of St. Louis, Missouri. This school was composed predominantly of African Americans and a few Hispanics. I was one of about a dozen Caucasian students at that school, and there I am for graduation. I graduated with my older brother. Well, actually, I graduated before him because my first name comes before his in the alphabet, and I never let him forget it. My childhood consisted of the typical all-American stuff. I did the Easter egg hunts. I grilled a few burgers under Dad's close supervision. And I was even dressing up for Halloween. I dressed up as a flapper. And one of the common sayings in the South, pretty is as pretty does. And that was one that I heard often. I did the hairdos that we all hated. I even did Girl Scouts for a little bit. And in my house, I was going to know how to make coffee. That's one thing that everyone agreed that I needed to know how to do, was make coffee. Now, I may have been raised in Texas, but that does not mean I say ain't every other word or any of the other traditional redneck slang often stereotyped with Texas. While my accent may be stronger the longer I'm around other people in Texas, my language is a blend of the Midwest and the Northeast. Some terms I have in my vocabulary come from each region. Pretty much, if you pick your state or your region, you pick the terms that are used. And I've often had to refer to this little guide when explaining to people why I speak the way I do. And 2 hoots and a holler is one of those phrases that few people across the Mississippi understand. After high school, that's right, I went to Philadelphia, and I was hit with another language barrier. I grew up saying mornin' and y'all, and let's not forget the big one, Coke. Each region I have lived in has a different term for it. Soda, pop, cola. There are even phrases in some parts not used in others. Most that I'm familiar with are Texas in nature, but individualized phrases are found everywhere. Philadelphia has a language in itself, and it did take some time to get accustomed to. But I enjoyed every minute of it. Coke is by far the single most differentiated term that I've found living around this country. Down here, we say, do you want a Coke? Well, we've got to specify what kind we want. Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Coca-Cola, Diet Coke. It's all referred to as Coke down here. But there is a difference. But I've traveled internationally also. I don't just keep my travels to within this country. I've spent a great deal of time in the Caribbean and experienced their vastly different culture and languages. Here I am at a Cajun festival. It's a girls' night out. Got to have the balloons and everything. I was even fortunate enough to go to the Junkanoo Carnival in the Bahamas. I experienced great music, great food, and great culture. In the Caribbean, they still celebrate the music from Bob Marley, and they consider him the timeless music man. If you ever have the chance, you have to try the traditional shrimp gumbo. Now, I think living across the country as I have, I can better understand diverse cultures and backgrounds beyond those currently around me. I believe I best contribute the concept of individuality to a classroom. When I have students from different cultures, geographic or others, I often allow them to share about it and tell stories about their past, things they might recall a family saying, or share cuisine. And it's not only a Southern tradition to share things over a plate of food with family. This is a global phenomenon, and I try to have all my students experience it. I try to make it a lesson for the whole class. Everything from Southern comfort to Cajun gumbo. Everyone needs to know all about it. Thanks for watching.